unsolicited advice, my experience of how it's triggering, both receiving and giving, and how to manage triggers around it and why it doesn't feel good. I'm Shaheen. I believe that we all learn through experience, both our own and the collective experience of others, and we all have something valuable to share and to give back so we can learn and grow. I'm not an expert, I'm not a relationship coach, I'm not a guru. I'm just a curious soul with a thirst for knowledge and adventure for life. And I'd like to share my journey, my struggles, my failures, my victories, and the lessons that I learned from those experiences. This is not intended as advice, nor am I claiming truth. So if anything resonates with you, take it, and if not, let it go. What is unsolicited advice? Unsolicited advice is advice that is given or shared without given permission or consent for it. Example of this would be where you are sharing something with a friend and the friend proceeds to start giving you guidance or advice on how you should do it when you didn't ask for it. I first became aware of this idea or this action being done when I was called out for it by a friend who was sharing something with me. It was a struggle that they were sharing with me. And because I felt empathetic, I wanted to help. I was like, you should do this or you should do this. And the friend called me out, said that they didn't really feel good and it didn't really feel great that I gave advice, that they didn't ask me for it. And initially I felt a little bit triggered and I was like, I was just trying to help. And as I dug deeper into this, I did realize, oh, she just wanted to be heard. And I didn't realize it at the time. And I started noticing this in my own experiences after that had happened, after a friend had pointed that out within me, sharing with friends, even sharing with my partners. When I'm going through certain struggles, I would share, and the minute somebody would start giving me solutions or advice, sometimes I even got interrupted in my share and the person was telling me what I should do. I felt myself growing frustrated. I felt myself feeling kind of begrudgingly towards the person. And sometimes I even got triggered. And often I still really get triggered by this because I just feel like, oh, you're not listening to me. It's like, I didn't ask for that advice. Why this became triggering for me? I just needed a place to be heard. And this particularly resonated strongly. I didn't even understand it at the time when it was with my partner, where I would have struggles and I would share something that I'm struggling, and immediately my partner would give me advice on how to fix it or what to do. And it became a triggered thing for me, and it made me shut down. It made me not want to share because I felt like I was trying to be fixed. I think that the sharing of the unsolicited advice often comes from a good place. It comes from a place of care. It comes from a place of help, of wanting to help the person. That being said, does that make it right? I don't think so. Even if you want to help someone, is it my duty or our duty to decide that that person needs my help without checking with them? And this is kind of where the lines got blurred of what is help and what is actually listening, and why I feel that unsolicited advice is not always really helpful. In my experience, why I have found that unsolicited advice is not really helpful, I feel that when I share something and someone gives me advice that I didn't ask for, I don't feel heard, I don't feel seen. I sometimes even feel belittled, and I feel that the person that I'm sharing with is not really listening to me. They're hearing what I'm saying and they're already moving on to what I should do. And it's as if they know better. And I don't feel that I get the empathy or the sympathy that I actually need. And that turns into a trigger for me. On the flip side of this, when I became aware of this, I started noticing patterns. When do I do it? And why do I do it? And especially when it comes to a loved one or a partner, I realized that I wanted to jump in and fix things because I did not want that person to suffer. I realized that I would hide behind the action of, I did it for love, I did it because I care. And upon deeper reflection, I realized that that's not right. when someone came to me and they wanted to share or have a safe space to share, I didn't just listen. I jumped in with solutions and advice, and I really, reflecting upon that, I don't think I fostered a safe space by jumping in with my results or guidance or solutions on what to do. When to give advice? And my answer is when it is asked for and when it is really, really needed. And especially the last one, you really need to discern when is it really needed. And for me, that comes to when it's a loved one making really harmful decisions. I will step in and be like, okay, this is what I feel. But to practice restraint in giving and to practice active listening, because who am I to be dishing out advice to anyone? A lot of people would so quickly jump to giving advice, whether it be my mom, my partner, my best friends. An example one day was I was going through some work and financial problems, and I confided in one of my best friends, and she immediately gave me a plan of action of what I should do. And I felt myself getting so triggered because I felt the person didn't really fully understand the magnitude of my personal situation. So how can they be giving advice on what I need to do? So a way that I've learned to manage my triggers is self-accountability and awareness. And that took a long time for me to learn, especially in my relationships. I took accountability to check in what are my needs. And now when I have something to share with a loved one or a partner, I would communicate my needs and be like, I have something vulnerable to share. Please, can you just listen? Please refrain from giving me advice. I really need you to just listen to me right now. And that was a hard one to learn, is to take accountability for my own needs. Another example would be when I do want the advice or I need someone's perspective or opinion, I would ask for it. And it would go something like this, like, hey, I really have something that I'd like to share with you. I'd really like to know your opinion. Can you let me know? The next time someone is sharing with you, just listen. And if you have that urge to want to give advice because you can see what you need to do, I would encourage you to just listen. And if you really want to, at the end, say, I hear you. Would you like my advice? Or would you like me to just listen? Ask the person instead of just giving it. Challenge. Observe when this is happening, and especially observe yourself that when someone is coming to you, whether it be a friend, when they are sharing, notice, are you wanting to step in and help? Observe this within yourself, and the challenge is to practice that restraint and really check in. What does the person want? And if you do feel that you want to give advice or it's starting to happen, try asking the person if they want it or not. And at the same time, notice when this is happening to you, when you are sharing with someone, are they jumping in to give you guidance and tell you what to do? And can you take accountability for your own needs? What do you need in that moment? And are you able to communicate, hey, I just need you to listen? Or, hey, actually, I need your opinion on this. It's a daily practice. It is challenging and it gets better with time.